our good friend Rudy, and we are here to discuss a new film that we just saw.
You may have remembered him. You may remember him from our summer of Soul reaction, where he had very long, luscious locks, but he's since had a haircut.
Yes. Please, if you like our videos, like, comment, and subscribe to us. Follow us on the Instagram and send us messages and look at all our pretty pictures. And be sure to find us now on
Twitter at Love Sam and Jacob.
You can be our 5th follower.
And most
I
importantly,
didn't know you had a Twitter.
we do. Maybe you could be our 6th.
Sure.
It's a race.
I love the Twitter.
Really? Actually, I don't think we've ever connected on Twitter.
Nope.
Wow.
That's how into the Twitterverse I am. But most importantly, don't forget to tell your aunties about Sam and Jacob.
Tell them.
Want to practice that catchphrase?
No. None of my aunties are on Twitter. I assure you, none of my aunties are on Twitter.
It's for the best.
Probably.
So we just saw Titane, which is the winner of the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, and it's this big movie that everybody's talking about all over the world.
And we initially were going to see Lamb. But we were like, you know what?
We initially told Rudy we were going to see James Bond. And then we said, just come here because now we've changed our mind, but we're not telling you what we're seeing.
Nope.
And so he didn't even look at the marquee when we walked into the theater and experienced this blindly.
Yes.
Which I have to say I think is a great idea to do to somebody. To have no preconceived notion of what you are about to witness.
And how did it...
This was a good one for that.
This was a good one for that.
What were you thinking?
You know what? I didn't. I had no idea. I was excited, but I had no idea what film I was about to see.
So overall feelings of the movie, I found it a little bit cold. I found it a little bit gruesome and grisly and surface level. I enjoyed it for what it was in the moment, but there's things to talk about with it.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
there's lots to talk about, and I'm almost hesitant to talk about the things in it because I think people should just watch what's going on.
Yeah, but if they're watching this...
Right, they want to know a little bit, so maybe we'll go into it a little bit. But I initially just want to say, feelings on it.
Did you enjoy it? I felt like you enjoyed it out of the three of us the most.
I did. I did enjoy it. I did. I didn't love it. It's not going to be like, wow, that was the best movie of the year. But I did enjoy it. Because I enjoy things that are different. And I do enjoy things sometimes that are graphic or that are extreme. But this was, I don't know, it was interesting.
I enjoyed it too. I will definitely say that my stomach felt like a very specific way that I cannot give you an example of another film where my stomach has felt this way. There were a few times.
That's a good descriptive.
I don't know what other film has made me feel the way that this film has made me feel. And I'm usually someone who's like in terms of the American horror films, I am like, haha, the suspension of disbelief just doesn't exist with a lot of the American horror films. So I appreciate Jacob for influencing me on the foreign film horror circuit.
Yeah.
And they definitely make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
I covered my ears a few times when I probably should have been covering my eyes, but sensorily it just felt like more comforting to cover my ears.
It's described as a horror film, right? It's described as a what
Body horror.
Body horror. Yeah, it's funny. I wouldn't describe it as a horror film. There were horrific images.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I covered my eyes a few times.
I thought tonally that was the hardest thing about it. Was like, what does it want me to feel?
Yeah.
Scared? Not really that scared. Like thrilled, yeah, maybe, but I don't know. And it takes these tonal shifts that also throw you off.
And there are a couple of loose ends that I maybe would have liked to have seen how they were tied up. But I think that was kind of the intention of the movie, is just to go along with it and not necessarily know the turns and twists that it was going to take.
Yeah.
And there was backstory that I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically it's the main character finds that after she survives this car accident, she is sexually attracted to cars. And what a way to make a mountain out of a molehill. But she does get...
It jumps to that. Let's be honest. It jumps to that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of filler between the traumatic event and then what sort of puts the film in motion.
Right. You could see a montage of her growing up and drawing pictures of cars or looking at them and grinding on
her
the
first
bed
car.
Or something. Yeah, I don't know. Some sort of weird development of that, but it is just okay, this is what she is. And the first time it happens, you're like, what is going on?
Right.
I almost thought she was being raped in the first when it's happened, because they film it from outside the car at first, and then she's tied up, and you're like, what's the deal? Was she attacked? And then you realize okay, this is her own doing.
And it's weird though, because now that I think about it, that second event was also triggered by something traumatic. I guess, or maybe she wasn't traumatized by what happens in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
But then once the other elements take place, it doesn't feel like she's put into something that triggers that again.
Yeah, I agree. There's no rhyme or reason to her behavior, which is weird. And then it takes such a shift.
A great way to say it. There's no rhyme or reason to her
behavior.
Yeah,
and then it takes such a shift, her behavior does, and there's also no rhyme or reason to that. And that is my biggest thing with her character, is why, basically in the beginning, she's a murderer. We get that. And then it shifts, and we're like, what's happened? She changes. And
she definitely has an arc.
Yeah, she has an arc, but it just doesn't tell us why, or there's nothing that says, this is, why she isn't doing this anymore, or is doing it.
You really have to, do the work for yourself.
Yeah. And I like things that are left to interpretation. Yeah. I do.
Totally.
I just feel like sometimes there's things that are left for interpretation that you can sense more going on underneath. And this is a very, like I said, surface level to me. Everything visually, very surface. The sexuality, the violence is all right there in front of your face.
It's in your face.
Yeah. It's not, there's nothing subtle.
She's not there. Well, let me tell you.
But I think
Four people walked out.
people walked out.
You know it's a good film if you got people walking out.
And also there were people that were unsettled.
I think we were the only people that laughed, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Certainly. But
there's some,
and I thought it was funny.
There is some humor. It's weird because the more we talk about it, I was shocked. I'll be honest. I was just shocked. I didn't know what I was seeing. And I didn't even really know the title until the end. But I think the more we talk about it, the more you realize that there was a lot going on in that movie. I was telling them earlier, I think, though, that I just didn't connect, like you said. I wasn't invested in the characters, other than seeing what was going to happen next. And I don't know if that was on purpose, because thematically, it is talking about someone's obsession with something that is, without human interaction, inanimate.
Yeah.
So that might have been, and like you were saying earlier, I don't have a problem seeing a film where there's no dialogue and you're figuring this shit out for yourself. But yeah, it was just maybe we were kind of on a car ride.
No, it made me think of this movie called Under the Skin, which is got Scarlett Johansson. And I was thinking about how that movie was more effective to me with the way she was like a killer alien type thing. and it was so ambiguous. And the whole time you're like, she's just like a cold, you can't read her. And that, to me, is almost what I wanted out of this character. And then it shifted. Like, I loved that first half a lot, where she was killing, and it was just kind of out of nowhere. And, like, she was eating at home with her dad, and there was no connection in the family. And then when it shifts, you're kind of thrown. But I think the second half of the movie was a better, emotionally, and a better movie.
Totally.
But the first half had a cooler tone and visual style and atmosphere.
That's really great.
I wanted them to kind of blend. Maybe the first half could have had more of that emotion. The second half could add more of that
style. Of the,
because then it got the visuals and everything got a little more static, and I don't know. So everybody, check out Titane in the theaters while you still can.
Not to be confused with Titanic, a film that I personally love.
And don't blame us if you get
too.
disgusted or repulsed or reviled. And, we don't blame you if you're one of the 4 people that walks out of your theater. But
at least you were moved.
Yeah. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks. And thank you, Rudy.
Thank you.
And remember, tell your aunties about Sam and Jacob. And Rudy.